What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Base Damage. Today we're going to be taking a look at some more Hololive. This time a slight upgrade to a deck that I had before focused around the Kiryu Koko level 3 top end from Volume 1. And I actually had there was a couple interesting cards from Volume 2 that I used to upgrade this, as well as just some underrated other like combos and cards that I kind of wanted to showcase in this particular deck. I title The Dragon and the Duck. Obviously the dragon being Kiryu Koko and the duck being Ozora Subaru. For anyone not familiar with Hololive as much, she is a duck. Just saying. Anyway, she is part of the Holo Burbs. Anyway. But let's jump right into it. Obviously it is yellow with a splash of blue, even though some of the blue doesn't actually, isn't needed for some of the lower levels, but we will definitely discuss some of the more fun combos and just what this deck is capable of doing as we go along. So obviously let's start off with the legend herself, Towards the Future Together, Kiryu Koko. She's a 3/2/9/5. During your turn, she gets 500 power for each of your other Hololive characters, which is important because she does have to reverse for her climax combo. She also heals one on play, which is just really good, so we got multiple healers in the deck in general. And she has a climax combo with Welcome to the Kiryu Club, which is this 1k1 choice trigger. And I didn't put them in here, but I do have the promos of this. They look really nice. But yeah, when this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, if Welcome to the Kiryu Club is in your climax area, this gets the color red until end of the turn, and you can pay the cost right here of 1 stock and 1 card from hand up to 5 times. You perform the following action an X number of times, X equal to the number of times you paid the cost plus 1. So even if you don't pay the cost, you still get to perform it once, but if you pay the cost once, you get to do this effect twice. The effect being, put the bottom 3 cards of your opponent's deck into their waiting room. If there is at least 1 climax amongst those cards, deal 1 damage to your opponent. So basically you just want to be able to pay for this effect as many times as you can and just try to burn your opponent for a whole bunch. Just hoping that you're able to, you know, maybe even push them to a refresh, which would be really nice. Which I have done that with some people before. It's kind of funny. Getting the color red doesn't really do anything for this, but it's whatever. Otherwise, I just really like this climax combo, and to go ahead and be a little bit transparent with this, this was very cheap with the first iteration of this deck that I've posted on the channel, and I know with that I commented, oh, this is a very cheap deck. These Kokos have actually gone up in price. It is a double rare, but it's sitting at about $5 now a piece, roughly at the time of the recording of this video. So I just wanted to be transparent about that and state that in case anyone goes back to the other video and is like, oh, these Kokos are supposed to be like, I think it was like $1, probably cheaper than $1 beforehand. I think it was like 50 cents at one point. It's just kind of crazy, but I wanted to go ahead and state that. Next is one of the best girls from Holo EN. We have Wishing for a Future with You, Mori Calliope. This one being from the premium booster, I think. I think it is. It's a 3/2/9/5. On attack, you get to choose one of your other Hololive characters, and it gains 2,000 power until end of turn. There's lots of cards in here that boost power, but this is definitely one of them to be able to help, say, the Koko for making certain she reverses. I realize I never did the math on this. I'm bouncing back for 1/2 second. If you have a full field, she gains 2k anyway. She'll be 11/5. With the climax, she's a 12/5. So that is relevant for this first effect because if you give this to the Koko, that would make her a 14/5 trying to reverse for the climax combo, just stating. But her main thing that you run her for is during the turn, up to 1 time per turn, during the turn this card is placed on stage from your hand. When damage dealt by this card is cancelled, put the top card of your deck into your waiting room and deal X damage to your opponent. X is equal to the level of that card plus 1. This is commonly referred to as Musashi, referencing a level 3 from Kantai collection, from Volume 1 of Kantai. So 2 copies of this. 2 copies of this Hachima because I just fucking love this effect. This is just so broken, and there's something else. There's another deck profile coming up, if it isn't already out by this point, that combos with this so well. I just really love this. It is Summer Vacation Akaihato. It's from the trial deck. It's a 3/2/10/5. During the turn, this card is placed on the stage from your hand at the beginning of your attack phase. You may put all players' characters, except this card, into their waiting rooms. If you do, this card gets the following ability until end of turn, which is a 1-time Cancel Burn. When damage dealt by this card is canceled, you may deal 3 damage to your opponent, which is just really crazy. But you get to nuke the field with this, and it's such fun utility in case, especially if you're not able to like pull off the Coco combo for whatever reason. It's just really funny to have this as the backup strat. When this card attacks, you can pay 2, pitch 2. If you do, deal 2 damage to your opponent. So 2 copies of that. It's just really fun. And lastly, for the level 3s, we have Towards the Future Together Hoshimachi Suisei. If you didn't pick these up, they've also gone up in price. They were down, like, I want to say about $4 a piece a while back, and I think they're about up to like $10 or $11 a piece now. I could be wrong. But it is one of the better, like, early play level 3s in Hololive in general. It's a 3/2/8/5. If you have 4 or more other Hololive characters, this gets -1 level while in your hand and can be played from your hand without fulfilling color requirements. This could be thrown into any deck just so easy. It's really nice. During your turn, this gets 500 power for each of your other Hololive characters, which would make her a 10/5 during your turn if you have a full field. And when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can discard 1 card to put the top card of your clock into your stock. So she heals and that ends up healing to stock to pay for part of her cost, which is very nice. I feel this is a mandatory 4 of if you're going all, balls to the wall on this, because the other level 2 in here is not bad, but it's not something I summon too terribly much. The Strongest Greeting, Natsuhiro Matsuri, is a 2/17K. During your turn, this gets 1,000 power for each of your other Hololive characters, which makes her an 11 if you have a full field, which is kind of relevant for her Climax combo because it has to reverse. If you have a Climax in your Climax area when the battle opponent becomes reversed, you can choose a Hololive character in your waiting room and put it into your stock. So if a Climax from this deck is in play, that makes her a minimum of a 12K, and you get to produce a little bit extra stock, and for a fact it's going to be clean. So it's just a nice little thing to put in there. That you could replace this with like any number of good level 2s and still do perfectly fine. But I just like this in particular. Starting with some new stuff from Volume 2, we have the Research Result Hakui Koyori is a 2/1 3000 backup. And when you use this card's backup, choose one of your characters in battle. That character gets the following ability until end of turn, that when the battle opponent becomes reversed, you may put that character into your, or it is not optional. I said may, I'm sorry. It is a forced, put that character into your opponent's memory. It is not optional. I realize I need to state that. But Memory Kick is always very nice in this day and age. It doesn't come up with so much, but it can come up, like, say, with your early play Suiseis and stuff like that, so... even sometimes with some annoying level 1s, and I'll explain in a little bit here. Next, we have Hoshimachi Suisei, who grants wishes. When you use this card's backup, you can pitch any 2 cards from your hand. If you do, choose one of your opponent's characters with a level higher than your opponent's level, and put it at the bottom of their deck. It is a 2500 backup as well, if I didn't state that already. You get to be able to, get the early play shit off your opponent's field. Very nice. You could bump this up to like 2 copies and reduce the number of this particular backup right here, but it doesn't really matter. Anyone can see, nothing really matters to me. Hopefully that YouTube doesn't get me for that one. That is it for the level 2s, and now we're going to get to the level 1s with the backup. That's Summer with You, Yozora Mel. This deck actually used to be way more backup focused with the previous level 1 setup, but you don't need as many backups as before. You do, however, want cards in here with the crit triggers because this is an 8-choice triggered deck. So, but it is a 2K backup, and when you use this card's backup, reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is a Hololive character, put it into your hand, choose 1 card in your hand, and put it into your waiting room. So some nice hand filtering and trying to dig closer to a Climax for potential canceling. It's very nice. Next, we have the other Climax combo of the deck, which is the Duck. This Summer Memories Ozora Subaru is a 1/0/45. Typically, I don't like these cards that are very weak defensively, but this card just does not care, and we're going to explain that right now. When Sun Shining, which is the other 1K1 choice trigger, is placed onto your Climax area, if you have another Hololive character, just at least one other, this gets the following abilities until end of your opponent's next turn, which is when this card attacks, you can pay 1 to perform trigger check twice. People refer to this as Twin Drive. And it also gets the very, very fun ability, when this card is frontal attacked, you may return this card to your hand. Where have we heard that effect before? I couldn't, possibly begin to question where we got that effect from. You see the card on screen. Anyway, when this card attacks, basically she gets to bounce back to your hand like Aaron if she gets frontaled, so you don't care that she's weak defensively. She's going to save herself automatically. So, her other effect, which is not tied to her climax combo, even though it's kind of where it's positioned on the card, it may look like that. It says, when this card attacks, if all of your characters are Hololive, which they all are, choose one of your Hololive characters, and that character gets 1500 power until end of turn. You can give it to herself to make herself a 6k. With the climax, she is a 7k. Now, there's plenty of other cards in the level 0 lineup that is going to make it so she can very easily reverse cards, but she also is just able to save herself, so you don't really care that much in terms of defense with this. She is just like, you bounce back to hand, you got the resources, you can play it again the next turn and keep dropping Sun Shining and just keep going over and over. Very nice. I did not think that this was too terribly good at first, but then I kind of gave it a second chance and went, wait, this could actually have some potential. I feel Twin Drive is really good, especially if you have like 8 choice triggers in the deck or multiple standby triggers in a deck as well. Twin Drive can be very useful in certain situations, and basically that's what you're trying to do to get your advantage, is triggering those Twin Drives. So, anyway, that is... sorry, there's one more level 1. I was about to say that's it for the level 1s, but there's one more. The Air Streaming Hoshel Marine is a 104k. This is from the trial deck as well. If you have two or more other Hololive characters, this gets 2k power, making her a constant 106k. Now, this is the level 1 that's going to kind of stay on the field, and if you're able to use backups on, this is where it's going to be a bit more relevant in, depending on the Mel, the backup Koyori, just saying. When this card becomes reversed in battle, reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is level 2 or higher, you may rest this card. So she has the possibility of being able to save herself, but it's kind of whatever. It's more the fact that she's just a very, very big body, because we do have several interesting buffing cards at level 0. Now that is it for the level 1s. Let's get to the level 0s. Autumn Path Kiryu Coco. I wanted to try to include as much Coco as possible, and I feel this particular card from the trial deck is not really represented that much. It's a 003k, which is vanilla stats, but it's technically oversized for what all this card does. So it has the drawback that it cannot side attack, which is perfectly fine, because you want to frontal. When this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, choose one of your other Hololive characters, rest it, and move it to an open position of your backstage. That is what people refer to as clean cut. Not certain where that originates from, just stating. So yeah, that is, just a very good card. And speaking of Coco, here's some more Coco. Dramatic Scene in the Office Kiryu Coco is a 002k. If this card is in the middle position of your center stage, she gets +1 soul. And when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can pay 1, pitch 1, search your deck for one Hololive character, add it to your hand. And so you try to grab your Subarus and get rolling with the climax combos. Next, we have one of the better brainstormers in Hololive in general. Towards the Future Together, Natsuiru Matsuri is a 0015. It has 2 separate act abilities, so you can only use 1 each turn, but still, this is very powerful. The first one is rest this card, choose one of your level 1 or higher characters, and that character gets plus 1500 power until end of turn, making it so you can get those Subarus up even stronger. Or I said before, she could get up to a 7k with her climax combo alone and buffing herself. You can give her an extra 15 to make her an 8-5, and there's even more stuff beyond that that we can use to get very, very big. She also has a brainstorm of pay 1, rest this, mill 4 for each climax, salvage up to 1 Hololive character from your waiting room. So a good salvage brainstormer. Before, I had one of the draw brainstormers from the trial decks because I was running the Flare level 1 climax combo from the trial deck. So there was a specific brainstormer that comboed with it. This works way better than that brainstormer, just stating. Especially because we don't have to worry about being too terribly defensive with this, but it doesn't matter. Next, we have Wishing for a Future with You, Hakui Koyori. This is also from the Premium Booster, is a 0015. If this card is in the middle position of your center stage, this gets +1 soul. And when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can pay 1 and pitch a climax to salvage back a climax from your waiting room. So this is the climax swapper of the deck, so you can try to get to either one of these and then be able to pitch them to get what you need at the time. So really good, kind of a mandatory now at this point of out the state of Weiss Schwarz in general. Then we have 2 copies of Aquarium Date for 2 Amane Kanata. Is a 0/0/15. During your opponent's turn, if your hand has 5 or more cards, this gets +1 level and 1500 power. As well as when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can pay 1, put the top card of your deck into your clock. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 level 1 or lower character, reveal it to your opponent, put into your hand, and shuffle your deck. Let you get whatever combo pieces you need, whether it be the Brainstormer, or get the Subarus, or even this last level 0 right here if you need the buffing, which is Never Ending Halloween Uruha Rushia, is a 0/0/1K. All of your characters in front of this get 500 power, and when your climax is placed on the climax area, choose one of your characters, and that character gets 1000 power till end of turn. So with this being able to bump up the Subaru, with the numbers we stated before, if you need at least 1 Subaru to get like very, very big, this would bump it up to from 8.5 to a 9K, and then when you play the climax, you can give an extra 1000. You can get any one of your Subarus up to a 10,000 attacker, and just be able to run over whatever you need. She bounces back, and you just don't care. You just keep doing it again and again and again each turn. So, and that was 3 copies of the Rushi, if I didn't already state, and that is it for the level 0s. We had 4 copies of Welcome to the Kiryu Club, and 4 copies of Sun Shining, both 1K1 choice triggers. And that is it for the deck. This has been very, very fun. I want to try to continue to upgrade this more. I might make more deck profiles for it. I might not. I already have so much Hololive that I'm making as it is. So, yeah, it's whatever. These Suiseis are getting thrown around a whole bunch. Let's just put it that way. But, yeah. Thank you all very much for watching. It is greatly appreciated. Please like and subscribe if you would like. If not, hey, thanks for stopping by to check out the deck profile. It is greatly appreciated, and we will see y'all on the flip side. Peace out for now.